start off this morning with a quote. Can I get that on the screen? If the highest aim of a captain were to preserve his ship, he would keep it in port forever. Very, very beautiful quote. I love this quote so much. It's by St. Thomas Aquinas. And I want you to kind of keep those words in your mind as we go through our sermon this morning. All right, so today I want to talk about something that happened this month, something that came back this month. All right? We, as a part of Texas and Texas culture, we know something important came back this month. That is them Friday Night Lights, right? Right?
Yeah.
Then Friday Night Lights came back. Football season is back. The kickoff of sports for us, right? Texas football is ingrained in our culture. It's more prominent, but probably not as good as our Texas baseball. But you know, our sports are a big deal for us here in Texas. And for me, as a graduate of Temple High School in 2011, I would not be doing my job if I didn't mention Texas basketball as well, because when I was in school there, we went to the regional finals, finished like sixth in the state, all right? And that is something we haven't done since I was in school, so I got that little bit of pride in our Temple High School Wildcats. I want to talk about sports. Sports is a big deal for us. It's a big deal for our culture, for Texas culture, for American culture, and really for human culture. I looked it up before this. The earliest recorded history of sports is somewhere around anywhere between about 10,000 BCE. 10,000 BCE, with the earliest recording of sports being something like wrestling, some kind of wrestling competition. 10,000 BCE. That's a long time. That's a long time for sports to kind of been ingrained in our culture, been a part of our human history. And so my question to y'all this morning is, what is it about sports that makes it so interesting for us? That we would still be doing it today, that we've come up with new ways of competing and showing off our greatest athletes? What is it about sports that makes it so compelling? Like, say, for example, there's some of the greatest basketball players of all time. And one of them, our current greatest, is LeBron, right? Who's playing. Kobe and Jordan are retired. Well, you know, Jordan's retired and Kobe is unfortunately no longer with us. But LeBron is currently the greatest basketball player in the NBA. Even if he's not as good as some of the other players right now. But, you know, his career speaks for itself. But would LeBron be great or that interesting if all he did was shoot free throws? Would that make him interesting? Would that make him the greatest? You know, if these athletes, if all they did was kind of the bare minimum, would that make them all that great? Would you see that on a, ESPN Sports Center top 10 plays of the week? No. You see them slam dunks. You see the diving catches in baseball. That's what makes it interesting, right? It's the times that these athletes kind of go above and beyond what a normal person can do, when they kind of rise above challenges. It's that Michael Jordan flu game, right? Does everyone know that one, or does no one know that one? Well, anyways, when Jordan was playing, I'll just say it. When Jordan was playing, he had the flu for one of the playoff games. And he went out there with like a temperature of like 101 or something like that, and was just dying in between games. He still scored like 30 points. Because he got out there and he rose above what most of us wouldn't be able to do. I get the flu and I'm laid up in bed for a week, right? All right? And so I want to talk about that idea of rising above a little bit and going beyond what is kind of the normal, or doing something that is kind of going for gold, right? Because, I don't know how many of y'all know this, but in 2028, right, and we have our Olympics coming up. We just had in 2024, we're having another one in 2028. It's actually going to be in LA. It's going to be in the U.S. for like the first time since Atlanta, the Summer Olympics at least. And, the Olympics are an interesting event because, the first Olympic Games happened in 776 BCE, almost 800 years before the life of Christ. That's how long the Olympics go back, and we're still doing that today. But would the Olympics be all that interesting if I was the one running those sprints or swimming across that pool? I can do it. I'll be a lot slower. I'll be a lot slower than Usain Bolt, but I can run it. I can swim it. But would that be interesting? it might be interesting for a different reason. And I don't really watch a whole lot of the Olympics. I don't watch the swimming or the running because I can do that. I'm going to be a lot slower than Usain Bolt and Michael Phelps, but I can do it. I can swim across the pool. But you know what I do watch? You know what I like? I like when I see the athletes that kind of go above and beyond what I think is even possible for a normal human to do. So I watch stuff like the gymnastics. You know what I mean? The gymnastics are pretty amazing. When they get up on those uneven bars and they spin, they flip, and they do all these crazy things. I'm like, how do they even do that? It's outrageous. But would we watch if Simone Biles got up on the balance beam and just simply walked all across? Would we watch that? Would you watch that? For a minute? You would watch me do it. I almost put it on stage, and I realized that was going to be a harder fall. We wouldn't watch if these athletes just simply did something like that, simply walked across the balance beam. No, we want to see them do the cartwheels and the flips, and they put that one foot and they flip the other one above their head, and they flip it all. How? Bill, come and do it. No. Bill's like, oh no. We want to see those athletes go above and beyond, right? And that's what they're act of going for gold. Now let's talk a little bit about that. And I want to also point out one other story for the Olympics before we move forward. Like I said, sports, it captivates us, not just because of the people that win, not just because of the people that get the gold or win the championship. It's also the ones that push, and even though they don't win, they win a good moral victory. We love those stories. We love the underdogs, even when the underdogs lose, like Rocky. We love Rocky, right? Rocky loses to Apollo Creed. He loses to him, but he pushes, and he goes the distance. Or like one of my favorite sports movies, The Amazing Cool Runnings. Everyone know Cool Runnings? Oh yeah. The Jamaican bobsled team, they did not win. They didn't. They didn't need to win. They won that respect. Everyone thought that they were just a gimmick or just there trying to just be a part of the Olympics. Because who would believe Jamaica would compete in the Winter Olympics? Who would believe that they would go out there and do bobsledding? And even though they didn't win, they earned the respect of the people around them because of how much they tried, how much heart they put into it. They went for gold. So, and something else about athletes is the idea that we just started a lesson on Wednesday nights with the youth group. We're talking about spiritual disciplines. And I asked them, I said, what does it mean to be disciplined in something? And, they were like, I was like, you got to be disciplined in a sport or disciplined in an instrument if you're in band or in music, or disciplined in your studies, disciplined in math. Like, what does that look like? And the truth is, it's being well-practiced and well-trained. You can never expect to be Kobe Bryant unless you train like Kobe Bryant. You can never expect to be like LeBron unless you train like LeBron, right? How are you to expect to be like if you don't train like? So that's what I want to talk about this morning, is how we can start making those steps. Start making those steps to be like, to train like. I'm going to reread this quote, and then I'm going to have Micah come up here and read a passage for us. We're going to be today. So, if the highest aim of a captain were to preserve his ship, he would keep it in port forever. Micah, you want to come up here and read?
Read from there, or you can read from the screen because you don't have to do it. Okay. No, it's on the screen. Okay.
Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down from the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and, beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed onto the boat, the wind died down, and those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God."
Thank you, Micah. So this is the passage we're going to be talking about this morning. What do we see? We see in this passage it's early in the morning, about 4 or 5. That's the idea. It's about 4 or 5 in the morning, which for me is the late evening. For these fishermen, it's the early morning. All right? The bad part of the early morning. And the disciples are out there on this boat, right? Because Jesus told them, they just got done, just so you know, where we are in the story. Jesus just got done feeding the 5,000. He just got done feeding the 5,000, and then he tells his disciples, "Hey, go to the other side of there. I'm going to hang back and pray. Y'all go ahead. I'll catch up." And they're like, "Oh, okay, but there's a storm coming in." They get out there. The storm comes in, and all of a sudden they see somebody walking towards them. They're on the sea, this lake, whatever it might be. Storm's going. Someone's walking towards you. It's not still waters. It's not clear. It's not 12 in the afternoon. It's 4 or 5 in the morning, and they see someone walking towards them. They're terrified, like any of us would be. And these are hardened fishermen. These people have seen everything, and yet they're terrified. They say, "It's a ghost. It's a ghost." And the crowd in fear, and they're thinking to themselves, "Why did we go out here alone? Why did we listen to him? He just got done feeding some 5,000 people. He sent us out here, and we're now by ourselves. He can calm this storm. He can, get rid of that ghost or demon, whatever it is coming towards us. He can cast it away. But no, we're not with him. We're in trouble. We're going to sink. We're going to die. It's done." And Jesus says, "Take courage. It is I. It's me. Don't be afraid. It's all good. It's your teacher. It's just me walking towards you. Chill. Like normal. Walking with some water. No big deal. Calm down. It's all right." Now, typically, when I've seen this passage taught, we talk about that fact, that Jesus walking on water, a miracle. Absolutely. It's astounding. It's amazing. We talk about that. Or we talk about the next part. We talk about how little faith Peter has. How little faith Peter has. Starting to sink. Why did you doubt? Why? But just listen to this. What he says. When Jesus says, take courage, it's I, don't be afraid. Peter says, Lord, if it is you, tell me to come out on this water with you. Tell me to get out of this boat and come on this water with you. Does that sound like someone who doesn't have faith? He says, if it is you, I could walk towards you. If that's really Jesus and not some demon or spirit trying to trick us, I could get out of this boat and walk towards you. Tell me to come. Jesus says, come. Then Peter, and again, mind you, it's storming. It is not calm waters. It's storming. Peter gets out of the safety of the boat and onto the stormy waters and walks with Jesus. Unbalanced, walking towards Jesus. I'm going to fall. Starts walking towards Jesus. That's not someone that lacks faith. All right? He starts walking towards Jesus. And then, as he's walking towards him, he starts to look around. He takes his eyes off the prize. Like so many athletes, gets distracted. Gets distracted by the storms. He starts to sink. Starts to doubt. But he does that for just a moment. And I'm going to tell you why it's just a moment. Because as he starts to sink, he calls out. But he doesn't call out for his best friends that are in the boat. He doesn't call out for his brother Andrew, who's probably looked out for him all of his life. He doesn't call out for Andrew, who's back in the boat, or any of the other skilled fishermen who's back in the boat. He says, Lord, save me. He knows exactly who can help him in that moment. He knows exactly who he needs to call out for him. He says, Lord, save me. And Jesus reaches out and he catches him and says, why did you doubt? Why couldn't you just keep coming? And so we look at the story and say, oh, Peter, why? But how much faith did Peter have to get out of the boat? Because Peter took a chance. He got out on that balance beam. He didn't just walk across it. He did a cartwheel. He went for it. Went for it. Where was the disciple Matthew? Or the disciple that Jesus loved, John? Where was James, Andrew? Where was all these people? They're back in the boat. They're back in the safety of the boat. Peter got out. He went for gold. He got nervous. He looked around. He fell. But like a loving coach, what did Jesus do? He picks him back up. He embraces him. He saves him. He picks him up when he fell short. Now, the question I want to kind of give everyone this morning is, who are we going to be? Are we going to be Peter getting out of that boat? We're going to be the disciples playing it safe, staying. Are we going to keep our ship in port forever? Ship isn't meant to stay in port. It's supposed to go, travel. It's supposed to get beaten by the waves like the ship in this story. It's going to take some damage. But the captain preserves his ship. The captain takes care of it. He'll take care of you. You got to get out of port. You got to get out of port. So sink, swim, walk, run. We have to be able to get out of that boat. We need that faith to step out of our comfort zone and onto the dangerous waters. Because that's what Jesus is. That's where our Savior is. I talked about how we're talking about disciplines. Disciplines are a good way of becoming more disciplined. It's a way of connecting us, making us more attuned to the will of God. Because Peter was untrained. That's why he fell. That's why he sank. We got to train ourselves up, and then we got to be able to do the courageous thing and step out. And even getting trained, even taking those steps, are difficult. We can't just stay in the boat. We also can't just play it safe in our Christian walk. Jesus calls us to do more. We're not called to keep in port forever, keep safe. We're called to go out where our Savior is. And like the disciples proclaim in verse 33, truly he is the Son of God. We are here to pick up where they put down and go follow him and make those miracles happen. All right? That's what I got for y'all this morning. If I can bring up the worship team now. If y'all, who's standing up here normally? If y'all have any prayer requests, if you want to try to figure out how to become more disciplined in your walk and in your faith, you can come talk to Bill, talk to one of our other pastors, one of our shepherds. We'll figure that out for you. I want to thank y'all for giving me the time to speak. Bill is going to be preaching next week, and that will finish up our September series of hearing all of our pastors while Roy's on sabbatical. So, thank y'all. Come back next week.